Welcome to the showcase, baby. Oh, the showcase. Righteous minds. It's your time to shine. The showcase. Righteous minds. It's your time to shine. The showcase.
Another edition of the Showcase. I'm Brother Rashid, as you already know. But we have here two astounding young women who are nationally known and they're just doing wonderful things in the community. We have Sister Latifa Ali, and she's going to introduce her guests and the astounding work that they're doing globally and locally. So, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Let us know what's going on here, who we have here, and a little bit about yourselves.
Well, we're first honored to be here in New York.
Okay.
My original stomping ground, Brooklyn.
Okay.
Right, but now we're in Boston.
Okay. Wonderful.
And I brought with me my daughter, Sade,
Okay.
who is part of a group called SWAM. And SWAM stands for...
Sade White, which is my first and last name, and Abidah Muhammad, and I'm a duo, so that's my friend Abidah's first and last name, so SWAM.
Okay.
And we're here because we just launched a new radio program on a American Muslim 360 called Music and More. And we're really excited. I'm actually doing that in collaboration with my brother, my biological brother, called Fat Free, Arafat.
Okay.
Short for Arafat. So we launched the show last week, and we're all tuned up and ready to roll for the rest of the year. And I heard about your show, and you invited me graciously, and we would love to be here. This is a great launching point for much of what we're doing.
Okay. And I find it funny that everyone knows each other, but don't know each other. 'Cause I didn't know you were related to Arafat until recently.
Right.
And it was like, huh? What are you talking about?
You know, I get that in Boston all day and night, because Arafat's like some kind of comet or something who happens to be my brother.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I just live off of his tailspin, really, because he is all over the planet doing unbelievable things. And I said to Arafat, and crossing over the years, I mean, this is something, a manifestation over years of time.
Okay.
We did a show, my mother launched it over 20 years ago. She launched a show called Family Tree in the 90s, right?
Mhm.
And from that show, she did it for 5 years, then she passed. When she passed, I graduated from college, Hampton University, HBCU, right? They was just identified as the #1 HBCU. I have to give a shout out to Hampton. And it was a time for me to kind of pick up the baton.
Okay.
She was a community activist, Jacqueline Muhammad out of Roxbury, actually originally from New York as well.
Okay.
And so we did that. We picked up the baton, and we rolled for 14 years until I said, I gotta take a break from this.
Okay.
You know, we had unbelievable guests. We had people like Douglas Blackman, who
Okay.
came on, who was the editor-in-chief of the Wall Street Journal in Atlanta, who wrote a book called Slavery by Another Name. And so when we got to that point, he got the Pulitzer Prize and said, okay, I need to take a break, retool, and come back. So after 4 years of a sabbatical, we came back with a concept called Music and More. Music and More, MOOR.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're really excited to launch, especially joining the American Muslim 360 family.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let us know a little bit more about maybe SWAM and the upbringing and maybe the effect. And don't be nice because it's your mother. Don't be nice. The effects of growing up in the family, growing up with the media, growing up with Islam, just let us know why SWAM, why get into it, why not just go off and be a doctor and just be done with it.
Okay. Well, I think my grandmother, my mom's mom, she kind of planted the seed of music because, you know, she had her different albums, and then, of course, she was a community activist. So both of those things have influenced, you know, of course, my mom and her brother and sister, and so, in turn, that influenced me growing up. My dad is actually Christian, so I've got an interfaith upbringing, so, of course, I've listened to gospel music, and that's influenced my music taste as well, and he's also listened to like a variety of things. So just both of their music tastes and their music influences have given me a strong root into music, and so I kind of knew from a young age that I wanted to do music, just not when and how. And so now, as I'm getting into it, it's all just kind of coming together in its own way. It's not really even anything I have to think about because it's all kind of just been put into me, and it's just waiting to really come out, I guess.
Okay. So did you grow up in New York, or are you a Boston?
Well, actually, I was raised in Boston, Mississippi, Virginia, Atlanta, and a few
Kind
other.
of like a Muslim army brat kind
Okay.
of child without the army.
So
It's a
different-
regiment child.
yeah, so I think even being in those different places have influenced, you know, because Mississippi has a great history with African American music, and so I feel like that gives me a connection even there. So
And then we have the really strong music connection because, of course, my husband, Wally Ali, is a lifetime musician from Motown, one of the original Funk Brothers. And so that kind of laid a strong foundation for some of the quality of music that we got exposed to over the years, seeing him perform all around the country, being at the Muslim Inaugural Gala and other events, and then doing Images, which I heard about from the 5th grade at Clara Muhammad School, and fell in love with the kind of gallantry kind of music that kind of champions a cause as well. So all of this vibration has been happening and molding over time. In fact, my mother, Jacqueline Muhammad, actually created a song series for children called Skip a Fairy Tale.
Okay.
So all we've known is creativity on creativity on creativity, and Sade has been acting and performing since she was 2. She used to write songs when she was 2. If a song came on the radio, she would rewrite it to constitute her own understanding of life, and she did that as soon as she could talk. So I knew she was a writer back then.
So do we have those published yet, or?
Yeah, we have one song created.
She has a song coming out.
Okay.
We're actually pushing a whole new concert coming out called Music and More, concerts in Boston. And I think she could just give us a little snippet of that song. She wrote this song. It's really cool.
Yeah, we're working on an EP, so it's going to be 4 songs, 2 versions of the song I'm about to give a snippet of, and then 2 other songs.
Okay.
So, whenever would you like me to give a
Right
snippet? Okay. I see that fire that's in his eyes, all his deceit and all of his lies. From his demeanor, I can tell he's a player, acting like I'm feeling what he calls swagger. I already know what he can deliver, a load of heartbreak just waiting on his trigger. But the laws of attraction I think I'll defy, and I think he's a challenge that I should like. Oh my, oh my.
Let me get up now and go get my autograph book, because I want one now. I don't want to wait in line for tickets. I want to get one now. See, maybe I can set it later.
Well, you know, it's amazing that God gives you exactly what you need when you need it, because Fat Free, my brother Fat Free, Arafat, does Lightspeed Entertainment. So Lightspeed Entertainment decided to team up with my company, Nuruddin Development, and all we're doing is positive, cause-effective music and more. And so all of this is just kind of like a supernova exploding right now. And Sade is just like the perfect planet alignment with the music that she's doing with Abida and just everything. I mean, she not only can do that, she's also an artist. She can draw, she does photography, she's a makeup artist, she writes. I mean, she just does the full 9 yards of explosive creativity. So we're really excited. We're looking for clotheslines to come out and everything else that you could imagine from a Jay-Z or anyone else.
Okay. Hopefully in the future we can have you come perform live on the show.
That'd be amazing.
We didn't have it set up for today, But in general, we the next time you are free to come out, we would love to have you just
Yeah, I'd love that.
do a
That'd be
live
awesome.
show here. If you're not camera shy.
No,
Oh, okay.
even if I was.
And I encourage people to listen to our new show, Music and More, every Wednesday night, American Muslim 360. We're the newest baby to the family.
Okay.
And on that show, you're going to hear everything from hip hop to blues to you just name it, any kind of genre. You're not only going to hear the good stuff, the positive stuff, we're going to analyze the bad stuff too.
Okay.
So we're going to break it down so all of that toxic stuff can just release out
Yeah.
into the universe and make it clear where we're going with this thing. And we're going to have like this Pied Piper thing going where people are not even going to be able to listen to things that aren't good for their soul anymore.
Okay.
So that's what we're working on. And you will listen to us from 9 to 11, the 911 call, urgent call on
Okay.
Wednesday evening.
And that's make people understand that's more of an internet radio.
It's
everything?
internet, it's
Yeah.
Blog Talk Radio,
Blog Talk.
American Muslim 360. So they could Google that and get that information, and they can listen to it on the phone by calling in, or they can go on to American Muslim 360 and listen live online.
Okay. And if you don't mind me saying, as soon as she started singing, I said that's down south. that's complete down south. On the river. Let's go ahead.
I appreciate that.
You know,
Thank
and
It moves your soul.
it's just that I guess from New York, you get so used to certain type of things. But when you talk, I don't really hear it. But as soon as you started singing, I said, that's Mississippi. That's down south. That girl been down there. So, and unfortunately, not to compare it or put you in the category, but that reminds me of the old slave songs.
Yes.
That old, feel good workman song
Yeah.
that everyone's just used to working.
Well, it's a crossover song. I mean, if you hear the music and the lyrics and everything put together, all together, it actually crosses over to kind of like a Beatles sound.
Mhm.
We're even working on a Vampire Slayer angle. We're gonna be popping with stuff that people just never heard about.
Okay.
And so when you hear her, she's crossing over from young, old, black, white, green, yellow. We're gonna have the world vibe into this. In fact, she's been compared to world music.
And that's where we need to be at.
Yeah.
Because the stuff that's going on nowadays is just so.
Look,
Backwards.
they leave the door open.
Yeah.
We're just gonna walk right in.
Yeah, it's walking. Let's go ahead. Right now we're gonna go into a commercial break.
Sure.
And then we're gonna come back and see what else is going on for you, your daughter, your company, and where can we assist you
Sure.
in taking your travels.
Absolutely.
Brother Rashid Hafiz, we'll be right back. It's the Showcase. Once again, Brother Rashid here, and we're here with the Ali family. We're here with the just a rejuvenating sound, rejuvenating soul, just a homegrown, feel-good music. So Latifa, just bring us into what's coming up next, and you have something with the renewal of the vows, going back your family legacy, and just let us know. Start to finish, where we go.
So some of the cool things that are happening, all this has been like in movement for probably centuries before now. We're just kind of manifesting it, harvesting it now, like diamonds in the rough. So part of it is when I was brought up, we were taught that we were descendants of Nat Turner, right? So we always had that original revolutionary spirit going on, right? And part of that legacy, my grandfather, Maceo H. Turner, was an attorney and a judge. And he worked with folks like Martin Luther King, Thurgood Marshall. He was attorney for Sammy Davis Jr.
Okay.
He even got the Silver Star for working with General Patton's army.
Okay.
right? So he's laid this kind of like no holds barred foundation in which then coupling it with my mom being a community activist, Jacqueline Muhammad, we feel like there was just a perfect hibernation going on. So now we're birthing what we call the wedding experience. Like, how do these cross hibernation of relationships really manifest into greater universe, right? So the wedding experience is our every other year I renew my vows, or it used to be every other year. Now we changed it to every year, and I'm joined with 6 couples, stewards usually of the community in many forms and fashions, young, old, interfaith, black, white, green, yellow. They're all just positive stars within the universe. We come together and they do a renewal in their own way. It's a themed thing so that everyone wears the same colors. I think previously we had royal blue, gold, and white for our first year. Our second year was purple, silver, and cream. And so the idea is that everyone is a piece of the party. So everyone who is invited wears those theme colors. So it's like a big, massive ball of colors. So we do that all for different missions and ideas of connectivity, right? But on top of that, not only do we have the wedding experience every other year, and now we're going to kick off the new wedding experience. That happens in Boston, right? In 2015. In 2016, we're going to kick it off in Atlanta, the first time doing it outside of the state.
Oh, wow.
With some really great people, leaders coming out of Atlanta, Georgia to do it. So this is all part of the Nordian development concept and idea. It's kind of like the Mansa Musa economic development model, where, you know, when Mansa Musa came through the continent for 20 years, when he was going on pilgrimage, the landscape of the community changed. That's what we're doing. We're changing the landscape anywhere we go. Only the infrastructure that we're changing is those souls and those relationships, building that fabric back. Because we know the marriage, if you can build a strong marriage, you're building the economic threshold of the community, basically. So that's the idea, right? So we follow it up, with something called the Kissing Cousins concert. Now, when I said that to Imam once, he said, "What?" I said, what? So he heard me, right? And that's what I wanted him to do. I wanted it to resonate with his soul, because as Muslims, first of all, you know we can marry our cousins, right? So that shouldn't even be shock treatment right there. But it is, because we're so inundated with this culture that sounds weird, right? And it's okay. It's a little weird for our current culture. But I want people to pay attention to it, right? And so the Kissing Cousins concert is, we're all cousins anyway. And in this time with Gaza and all these other things happening, we got to remember that we're all part of the human family. So let's kiss and make up. It's a world peace concept, just brewing locally, but now going international and national, right? And so the idea is, I have famous cousins in my family. And I didn't know it when I started it. It was just an idea that birthed. So I had to look for them, right? So we ended up finding Josh White, right? Josh White is touted by Chuck D as bringing black folk music to white America. He played for Roosevelt, a couple of presidents. He also is famous, he's the other famous person for singing the Strange Fruit song. You remember Strange Fruit? With Billie Holiday song? Yeah. He was blacklisted. He died destitute. Richie Goods. Can I say that again? Richie Goods, so I can redeem myself. So, you know, and then we have other colors coming out. That's the bass player coming out with a new fusion sound piece coming up soon. I'm plugging you a little bit more because of the era, but he plays for Chris Bodie. He's played for Alicia Keys. He's big. And bringing that fusion sound with Wally Ali's original Motown sound, coming with Josh White's folk music, you get a new genre. And now Sade White's going to be there doing her piece. It's just, you can't find it anywhere in America. And I would just piggyback off of what you just said about the interfaith piece. So I was the president of the board, the first Muslim woman president of the largest interfaith organization in the country out of Massachusetts, Cooperative Metropolitan Ministries. And from that seat, for the last 3 years, I've gotten a chance to intimately be involved with rabbis, be involved with Christian ministers, be at the table for all kinds of social justice issues with a social justice-led organization that came out of the Martin Luther King March of Selma. So we've been right in the trenches, and the music and the work that we're doing is bridging relationships all across the country and all across different indifferences that really don't exist.
Right.
Yeah.
So, this in itself is something that I believe is just been laid out by God. Because I kind of always felt that, you know, everyone has their little gripes because Obama is interracial. You know, it's from his father and his mother. And I go, well, so, but it brings everyone
Together.
Because what can you really say about him?
Yeah.
Because
he's your cousin.
Yeah. Because and not only that is, we as African Americans, and what I was broken down to by my parents, is that he's not really African American like we're African American.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because he knows what part of Africa he comes from.
Sure.
We really don't know, so we're just African Americans, but we really can't nail it on the head. He knows exactly where his father came from, and he knows where his mother comes from.
Right.
So and he was raised partially by his Caucasian grandparents.
Right.
They were taking him places, doing things with him. So it was kind of like he had both worlds together with him. So now here you go with both worlds coming in together, and everyone comes together. And when it came time for voting, it was like, it doesn't matter what the color of your skin is. Where is your mentality? Where are you trying to focus your energy? Who are you trying to do better for?
Sure.
You know, for whose children are gonna benefit. And with this thing here, third and fourth generation coming.
More than that, you heard we come all the way from Nat Turner. In fact, I say one of the product lines that we do is we do also energy work, body work. I branded something called Neurodine, which I guess for layman's terms is something like Reiki, right?
Okay.
The manifestation of that energy work, we call it a reboot of the system. So we go around, we're actually doing a campaign right now called Key Avatar to the Star.
Okay.
Key meaning the key to the door, but key also short for the Reiki part, just giving them a little bit of homage.
Okay.
But we developed this concept of Neurodine, the light of the best self, right? Where we reboot some of the best leaders around the country, get them back to their original best fitra, and then let them go launch and really set this place ablaze.
Okay.
So we're doing that nationally around the country, and hopefully, God willing, internationally coming soon. Yeah.
So, sis, on closing, let's hear a little bit more from you and where you wanna go with this.
I think with music, I'm still figuring out the sound, but I do want to go back to the glory days. Not that it's gone completely, but the glory days of African American music, because we have such an amazing influence on the world musically. And as I go into history, it's just like so astounding. I'm like, wow, we're an amazing people, not just musically, but in every sense. And that's even more astounding just because, people have tried to stump out our fire, and yet here we are still strong. But yeah, I want to bring back the pride of African American music, to also help my peers and the youth of African American community find themselves again, to bring out positivity, to bring out creativity, and just to also show, because of reality shows and a lot of other influences, there's been negative, stigmas on our culture, and I want to show that, no, this isn't our culture. We come from an amazing background, we are an amazing people, and we will be an amazing people in the future. So I want to hopefully find a way to translate that through my music, work with other artists, and encourage deeper thinking, and just arising to a better place.
Okay. So we look to hear and see great things from you in the near future. And when it's time to go to Atlanta and Boston, hopefully we'll be right there.
Right. We want you to renew your vows with us. Absolutely.
So we'll be right there, right along with you.
Okay.
So just in closing, just give us some good words, just something that you feel in your heart you need to say to your community.
I had an amazing experience. We just got off of Ramadan, right?
Yes.
And I just had an amazing experience. Because of the work I do, I'm always in tune with the vibration of the universe. And there's a lot going on right now that can make people feel real heavy about what's going on. But there was this number that I had, and I was telling my daughter, they were like, oh, mama. But there was this number that I had been coming up for me for like 2 years, 3 years. And I was like, what is this about, right? And it was 313, right? And I thought, I don't know. I almost gave up on it. I don't give up on anything, right? And then the other day, I was looking on Facebook and somebody posted a video. And it was a video of the Sahaba from the Battle of Badr, right?
Mhm.
And it was 313. And I said, wow, that's it. There could be no more significant number than that.
Right.
That's the one that chimed in. And what it told me was, from a few, you will vanquish those who don't believe. So it gave hope because there's so much happening. It's almost, you can feel overwhelmed by the infrastructure against what is good. But when I thought about that, with the help of God, with the help of Allah, we got it going on. And so for me, that was a settling thought, and the thought I would love to leave out with people as they think about what the future is going to look like for our ummah as inheritors of W.D. Muhammad's legacy and inheritors of Adam's legacy.
Yes.
And Eve.
Anything with you, sister, before we go out?
I don't really have anything left to say. Yeah, but I said my beautiful.
Well, I would just say one thing. We're going to be doing a concert coming up in Boston, and we want everyone on the East Coast to come to Boston looking in October. So look out for the Music and More concert, where Sade is going to be featured and a couple of big surprise guests are going to be there.
So look out for that. We're going down to Boston. So get your traveling gear on.
That's right. We want you live from Boston. We're going to get you a studio in Boston to come from
All
live.
right, no problem.
Right?
We might just have to go out live from the street.
That's right.
Get the
That's
wire,
right.
get the feed, and tap it on.
That's right.
Look,
We'll leave the light on for you.
that's right.
Nor light.
More light. That's right. Brother Rashid here from the Showcase. We want to thank the family, the extended family, for traveling and being with us. Thank you. Peace.
Where we at? Nicholas is on Facebook and Instagram. What is it? Nicholas BK for Instagram, Nicholas Brooklyn for Facebook. Tap into that so you can find out when they got sales, when they're doing events, all the different things. Like stay in tune with Nicholas Brooklyn. Who's next? Oh.
Biracial and the stereotypical preconception perpetuated polarized America is like being light enough to be crack cocaine, dark enough to be the mouth that consumes it, dark enough to relate to king, light enough to be the bullet that ends the movement.